Yo. Welcome to 2026 this morning, July 25th. Happy Friday. We're here in the dog days of summer. We are about still 4 weeks away from the start of most European leagues and 6 weeks away from the next World Cup qualifying window. So in this downtime, let's take a look to see where we're at. See what we already have decided in World Cup qualifying, what we still have to decide, see who's made it, who's out, who still has a chance, and figure out what we have to look forward to in September, October, November, and looking forward to our draw for 2026 in December. And I think the biggest thing when we're talking about qualification for 2026, and maybe something that's underestimated or not talked about enough, is the drastic change that we'll see in this World Cup, moving from 32 teams to 48. So adding 16 teams, changing the formats that has been in place since 1998, the 34 teams, the top two teams of each group moving on to the round of 16. That's going to be different in 2026. This is going to be the biggest World Cup, probably the biggest sporting event ever. More games, more teams. It makes qualifying in some ways more complicated, but in other ways easier to understand and figure out maybe who's going to make it. Not as many shocks, and maybe some new dark horses, at least to make the tournament. So what has changed? Let's take a quick look. So South America, CONMEBOL in 2022 had 4 automatic teams, 1 in the Intercontinental Playoff. In 2026, they're going to have 6 automatic berths, 1 in the Intercontinental Playoff. Oceania in 2022 had no automatic berths, 1 in the Intercontinental Playoff. That team did not even make the World Cup. 2026, they are going to have a direct qualifier. That's already been decided, New Zealand. And the 1 team in the Intercontinental Playoff, which is New Caledonia. Big change for Africa. 2022, 5 teams. This time, possibly 10, at least 9. So 9 direct qualifiers, 1 in the Intercontinental Playoff. Another huge change for CONCACAF, also because they will be the hosts and not just 1 host, not 2, but 3 hosts. But 2022, 3 automatic qualifiers, 1 in the Intercontinental Playoff. That was Costa Rica. They did make the World Cup, so there were 4 teams. But 2026, 6 direct qualifiers, 2 in the Intercontinental Playoff. And Asia, AFC, they had 5 teams automatic, 1 in the playoff last World Cup. This time up to 8, and again 1 in the playoff. Less of a change for Europe, smallest change of any of the confederations. Last time out, 13 teams. This time, 16. But still, it's a third of the teams in the World Cup. I guess that is less than 2022 when they were more than a third, but still 16 teams in Europe will be in 2026. So let's take a look, looking at these numbers of who has qualified and who potentially can still qualify, and how these slot allocations will work in practice. So let's jump quickly into each confederation. OFC, that's an easy one. Oceania already done. They did their quick tournament already, and surprise, New Zealand was the team that made it out. They were able to beat New Caledonia in the final. New Caledonia, maybe a surprise, beat Tahiti in the semis to get there. They will be in the Intercontinental Playoff. And next, let's take a quick look at Asia. So as I said, that's already been decided, as I talked about already, we have the 6 teams that have already made it: Iran, Uzbekistan, South Korea, Jordan, Japan, and Australia. And we are on to the next phase. They're actually calling this phase 4 or round 4 of their qualification. I did a video on this draw and the teams and predictions, so check that one out. This green doesn't mean anything now. They haven't played a single game. But these are your 6 teams there, and your hosts in this case, the top seeds, Qatar will be where Group A is played, and Saudi Arabia where Group B is played. Next we have CONCACAF. They are into the third round, and again I did a video on that draw, but here are the teams. So this will go down to, right now it's in 3 groups, 4 teams. The winner of each group, and these will be home and away legs, so 6 matches. The winner of each group will go directly to the World Cup, and then the 2 best second place teams will both go to the Intercontinental Playoff. So 2 Intercontinental Playoffs spots for CONCACAF. Next, relatively straightforward, is South America. Again, don't worry about the green. This is just if things ended today. But as I said, Argentina, Ecuador, Brazil already qualified. And looking at these standings, very, very likely we'll be joined by Uruguay and Paraguay. Kind of a surprise there. Maybe not a big surprise, but good to see them back. Not that I'm putting a value judgment on it, but Paraguay likely back in the World Cup. And then we have Colombia, probably pretty good too. Very good squad. They just need one more win to secure their spot. And then again, as we talked about before, the 7th place Intercontinental Playoff spot will be big. It will be, right now, it's between Venezuela and Bolivia. It will highly, highly likely be one of those 2 teams. And looking at the matches left to play, we have Colombia against Bolivia, Argentina against Venezuela. Argentina already qualified, but still I would expect them to come out on top. I would expect Colombia to beat Bolivia in Colombia to secure their spot. Uruguay, probably good to beat Peru, but only needs a draw even to get there. Paraguay would like to get that out of the way with that match there. Ecuador, not much to play for, but a team like that, you're going to want to take advantage of all the matches that you have. So that could be interesting. And then most likely scenario, will come down to match day 18. A lot of match days in September. Venezuela plays Colombia. Bolivia plays Brazil. Venezuela at home, Bolivia at home. So Venezuela will be hoping Colombia has already qualified. I guess potentially there could be a direct qualification possibility for them if Colombia were to lose to Brazil and Venezuela were to beat Argentina. Venezuela then could directly qualify and Colombia would be the playoff team, but that's pretty unlikely. So I think Venezuela will have to get a win against Colombia, and then they wouldn't have to worry about what Bolivia will do against an already qualified Brazil. But September 9th should be fun. Next up, we got Africa. So they have 9 groups. The winner of each group will be the team the 9 winners will go to the World Cup. So the winner of each group goes to the World Cup. Each team has 4 games left to play. So they're going to play 10 matches. They've already done 6. So we both have a good idea of who's doing well, who is likely to make the World Cup, or at least who's likely to be in the top 2. And we know who is out of it, but there's still so much to play for with 4 games remaining. The weird thing about Africa, African World Cup qualification is how they do their second places. So it's only going to be the 4 best second place teams that make the 4-team playoff to reach the Intercontinental Playoff. Got that? So out of the 9 groups, the 4 best second place teams will play a little mini tournament with the winner of that taking the Intercontinental Playoff slot. So I'm not going to get too much into those possibilities now, frankly, because I don't know them. I think it'll just be down to points, but again, hard to determine that right now. especially with first places still up in the air in every single group. So let's take a quick look at these groups. Group A, likely to be Egypt that goes through. I don't think there'll be any surprise there. Burkina Faso in second, hoping to at least challenge them, or at worst be a top 4 second place team. Group B, super interesting. We've got the Democratic Republic of Congo on top, Senegal in second place, Sudan tied with Senegal. So those are the 3 teams on DR Congo with 13 points, Senegal and Sudan with 12. Kind of wild to see Sudan doing so well. Surprised to see Senegal doing not as well. They are the favorites to move forward. Let's just take a quick look at that group and what we've got going, or what's happened so far. So Senegal drew with Togo. Senegal at home drew with Democratic Republic of Congo. So those are some of the bigger matches, and again, Senegal tied Sudan. But match is still ahead. Democratic Republic plays Senegal. And Sudan plays Democratic Republic of Congo. So lots to play for there. But fun, interesting group with 3 teams really in the mix. Potentially one of them will be a surprise. Over in Group C, another interesting one. South Africa on top with 13 points, 5 points ahead of second place Rwanda. If you look down, third place is Benin, fourth place Nigeria. So wow, big surprise there. They were the favorite in the group, the seeded team. If we look closer at that group, we've got Nigeria in their first match tying Lesotho. Then we've got Nigeria tying Zimbabwe. Rwanda beating South Africa. Nigeria tying South Africa. Benin beating Nigeria. So these are some of the reasons why we have such a surprising table at this time. Nigeria again tying Zimbabwe. And South Africa getting wins. Looking forward. So South Africa hosts Nigeria, one of the bigger games, and basically Nigeria is going to have to win out and also hope South Africa lose along the way. Down to Group D. So we have Cape Verde in first, Cameroon in second. It will probably be those 2 that remain in those positions. They do play in September. Cape Verde and Cameroon do have one more match against each other. Group E, Morocco on top with 15 points. I don't really see them being challenged by any of these other teams, so Morocco looking good. Group F, we have Ivory Coast and Gabon, 1 and 2. I would expect Ivory Coast to stay on top of that group. Looking down in Group G, pretty straightforward again. We have Algeria on top, 5 wins, 1 loss. I would expect them to keep going and get through in that group. Down in Group F, we have Tunisia, 16 points, Namibia with 12, Liberia with 10, Equatorial Guinea with 7. Again, I think Tunisia should cruise through the rest of that group. Down in Group I, we have Ghana on top with 15 points, Comoros with 12, Madagascar with 10, Mali disappointing with 9. So Mali probably was the second best team in this group, expecting it to be Ghana and then Mali. Let's see what we've got going forward. So Mali plays Comoros. Mali plays Ghana. Ghana plays Comoros for the last match of the day. Comoros, very surprising that they're even doing this well. I would expect this to be Ghana. And then seeing if Mali can move up to get one of those second places. again, second place team, really not much we can take from this now. These are just the second place teams as we have it right now. So probably could do a separate video on UEFA, and maybe I will as we approach qualification there. But it's pretty funky. The easy piece is that there's 12 groups. The group winners all go through to the World Cup. UEFA gets 16 teams, so that means 4 more teams make it. One would think that the 12 second place teams would do some sort of playoff to figure those last 4 spots, but no, that is not the case. They take into account the Nations League ranking, so it's actually going to be 16 teams that make the second round, which is the playoff for the final 4 spots. So they will have 16 teams and then 4 mini tournaments, with the winner of each of those 4 tournaments making the World Cup. No intercontinental playoff for UEFA. You can look further in to see how the Nations League plays into that, but like I said, there'll be seeded teams into pots, but the draw will be pretty interesting here because only 4 of 16 teams will make it. So who you play, where you play, when you play, all that stuff will matter. Key takeaway here in Europe, you want to be first place. Second place, pretty dicey. And another somewhat confusing thing about UEFA is that some of these teams haven't played yet, and some have played 4 games already. So it gets a little wonky, again, because of the Nations League. So these teams that were in the Nations League haven't played yet. Some of them were in the Nations League for a bit and played maybe 2 matches or 1. Others weren't in at all and have played 4. So looking here, Group A, you would small group, only 4 teams. You would expect Germany to do well, but you never know. Then Group B, pretty interesting. Switzerland and Sweden and Slovenia. So Switzerland and Sweden, only one of them can go to the World Cup. Well, only one of them will get direct qualification from the group. These teams that haven't played yet all are in groups with only 4 teams, which makes sense. Here we've got Denmark, Greece, Scotland, Belarus. Kind of a tough group there. Group D, also haven't played yet. France, Ukraine, Iceland, Azerbaijan. Again, tough group. Group E, haven't played yet. Spain, Turkey, Georgia, Bulgaria. Another tough group. I think these 4-team groups do seem a little more difficult. Lastly, you've got Portugal, and with Hungary, Ireland, and Armenia. Hey, we've got some teams that have played. All right. So here we got Finland on top, but Netherlands have only played twice. Finland have played 4 times. Likely it will be the Netherlands who takes this group, potentially with Poland and Finland fighting for second. Group H, we've got Bosnia, who's played 3 games, won them all. Austria played 2 games, won them both. Romania played 4 games and has won 2 and lost 2. So looking like Austria and Bosnia, but still a lot to decide in that group. Then one of the interesting ones that I've talked about briefly before was Norway. Norway, 4 matches, 4 wins. They have already beaten Italy. And Italy, 2 matches, 1 win. And their 1 win was not very impressive over Moldova. So still lots to play for. They still have to play Norway in Italy, so anything can happen there. Group J, again, lots up in the air here. North Macedonia on top right now, but they played 4 matches. Wales have played 4 matches. Belgium only 2, but they have drawn again, or they already tied North Macedonia. Kazakhstan, Liechtenstein also in the group. Group K, we've got England. They've played 3 games, won them all. I guess Serbia would be their competition, but they've already have a draw against Albania. Albania, 4 games, 1 loss, 1 win, 2 draws. Down in Group L, we have Czech Republic on top right now, but they played 4 games. Croatia's only played 2, and Croatia crushed Czech Republic 5-1. So those are your groups. I think we'll go more into Europe in another video prior to their next round, or maybe after the September window when we know a bit more. Probably do the same for Africa. Those are the ones with no teams yet qualified and still in their first group phase, which is their main phase, round robins in those groups. And lastly, the Intercontinental Playoff. Intercontinental Playoff has 6 teams. It will be 2 mini groups of 3 teams, with the highest seeded team getting a bye, I guess, to the final round or the next round. So the top 2 teams by FIFA ranking will be the seeded teams. And then which means they only have to win 1 game. Looking at that now, if we say yes, Venezuela will get the Intercontinental Playoff spot for CONMEBOL, likely they will be the top seeded team. New Caledonia will almost certainly be the worst team, and then likely the second best CONCACAF team will also be an unseeded team. And then looking at it now, just, it's hard to say, but if we just looked at United Arab Emirates, Honduras, and the African qualifier, they're all going to be ranked now in the 60s. So any of those teams could be that second seeded team. And again, all these things could change if, say, Costa Rica is second place in that group. They will then not get the automatic qualifier and have to go into the playoffs, so they would be a seeded team. But you know how it goes. All right. There we go. That's where we stand now. World Cup less than a year away. Most of qualifying will be done by November. So 35 teams to choose from. We'll have 46 decided by November. We'll have the draw in December, and then the Intercontinental Playoff not until March. Okay, summertime. Enjoy. Football will be back soon, basically almost around the clock, starting in mid-August, all the way to July of 2026 for the World Cup here in the USA and Mexico and Canada. Enjoy. Peace.